call this meeting to order. The May 19th Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting of the Zoning Board of Adjustment is now called to order. Today's meeting is being conducted via teleconference to abide by county, state, and federal recommendations to limit in-person gatherings to help slow the spread of the coronavirus. We thank you for your understanding. Due to the format of this meeting, we will begin this morning with a roll call to confirm all members of the board are present and able to participate in our considerations. Board members, when I call your name, will you please respond in the affirmative if you are present? Jason Jones.
I'm here.
Dutch Diblow.
Present.
Kurt Villier. Kurt, are you with us?
Yeah, present, sorry.
Okay. Jim Mobley.
Here.
And I, Chad Harkey, am present also. City Planner Angela Choi.
I'm here.
Good deal. Item 3 is the approval of the minutes of our last meeting in March. Has everyone had a chance to look at them? If so, are there any corrections? Being there are none, I will now entertain a motion. When making a motion, please state your name for the staff.
Jim Mobley, motion to approve minutes.
Thank you, Jim. Do we have a second?
Dutch Diblow, second.
Okay, thank you. There is a first and a second. We will now conduct a roll call vote. I will ask each board member in turn for their vote. When asked, please indicate your vote by saying A or nay. Jason Jones. I think I heard you, Jason. Did you say A?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to unmute. Yes, A.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Dutch.
A.
Kurt Villier.
Okay.
Jim Mobley.
A.
And I myself, Chad Harkey, vote A. Staff will now confirm the record of the vote.
Thank you. Jim Mobley made the motion. Dutch Diblow seconded. The vote was 5-0. It was unanimous.
Thank you, Angela. We have now reached the citizen comment portion of our meeting. Those wishing to participate in citizen comment today were invited to access this meeting through a link to register with the teleconferencing application. This portion of citizens comment are comments made other than the public hearing items we have on the agenda today. If you wish to speak on an item on the agenda, please wait until that time to speak. Sean Harr, the city's meeting and tourism manager, is coordinating the technical side of the meeting and will assist with monitoring the citizen comment portion of our meeting. When you are called to speak, you will be unmuted and given one opportunity to speak. Please begin by stating your name and address for the public record. If you are also watching a live stream of this meeting through CityView Municipal Television, please mute it to avoid feedback. Sean, do we have any residents who want to speak today?
We do not have anyone logged in except those that are here to speak on a particular item.
Great, thank you, Sean. We are now on to the regular agenda. The purpose of this meeting is to hear all pertinent testimony regarding the proposed variances. Excuse me. This hearing is required by law to approve any variance to the City of Longview Zoning Ordinance and Sign Ordinance. The procedure for public hearing items to be followed today will be: the public hearing will be opened and testimony will be heard in the following order. First, staff. Second, the applicant. Third, the general public, those in support and opposition to the request. If you are part of a large group with a common interest, we ask that you appoint a spokesperson rather than have each individual restate the same information. When addressing the board, please begin by stating your name and address. Try to limit your comments to 5 minutes. When all sides have spoken, the public hearing on the matter will be closed and no further public discussion will be entertained. After each public hearing is closed, the board will vote on the request. We are now on to item A of the regular agenda, and I believe Angela will read this caption.
Yes. A public hearing will be held to consider application V20-03 filed by Anita Scribner for a variance to the side setback requirements of the City of Longview Zoning Ordinance, Article 9, Section 103, to allow for approximately 5-foot setback, side foot setback, instead of the required 6-foot side setback for a single-family dwelling located at 900 North 2nd Street.
Great, thank you, Angela. And Angela Choi will also give a staff presentation.
Thank you. The applicant is requesting a variance to allow for a single-family home to be constructed 5 feet from the side property line, which is the northernmost property line, instead of the required 6 feet. This lot is an irregularly shaped lot that is triangular with 2 front property lines and 1 side property line. Due to its irregular shape, the lot has a much smaller buildable area than most lots. The applicant is proposing to meet the front setback requirements, but is requesting a variance of 1 foot for the side setback. The proposed structure will meet all city codes. Staff does not feel that this variance request will impact any surrounding properties, and staff recommends approval of this request. I would be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Great, thank you, Angela. Does the applicant have anything to add or would like to speak on the request?
This is Anita Scribner with 900 North 2nd Street. I would just like to say that part of that, the 5.5, it's actually more like 6.5 feet from the border if you consider that part is possibly porch, because it's not actually part of the dwelling. It's closer to 6.5 feet, I think, from the, if you consider that porch. And then also the structure is going to be shotcrete and very fire retardant. Since there's no wood, it shouldn't be a fire hazard.
Okay, great. Does any board members have any questions for staff or the applicant on this item? When asking a question, please state your name for the staff. Okay, being that there are none, I will now open the public hearing. Are there any in support of this request? If so, please state your name and address for the staff.
There are none currently logged in to speak.
Okay, thank you. Is there any in opposition to this request? If so, please state your name and address for the staff.
There are none.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? When asking a question or comment, please state your name for the staff.
Hey, this is Jason Jones. This one's it's a pretty common sense one. We've done various ones like this, I think, over the last couple of years, I know.
That's correct. Yeah, it looks like a unique property. I would like to see the end result when it's built. Are there any additional comments? Okay, if no more additional comments, I will close the public hearing. I will now entertain a motion. When making a motion, please state your name for the staff.
Jim Mobley, make a motion we approve.
Thank you, Jim. Do we have a second?
Dutch DeBlow, second.
Thank you, Dutch. There's a first and a second. We will now conduct a roll call vote. I will ask each council member in turn for their vote. When asked, please indicate your vote by saying A or nay. Jason Jones.
A.
Dutch DeBlow.
A.
Kurt Villiard.
A.
Jim Mobley.
A.
And I, Chad Harkey, vote A. Staff will now confirm the record of the vote.
Jim Mobley made the motion. Dutch DeBlow seconded the motion. The vote was unanimous, 5-0.
Thank you, Angela. We are now on to regular agenda item B. And Angela?
Yes. A public hearing will be held to consider application V20-04 filed by Chris Stuckey for a variance to the front setback requirements of the City of Longview Zoning Ordinance, Article 9, Section 103, to allow for approximately 30-foot front setback instead of the required 35-foot front setback for a single-family dwelling located at 3225 Stadium Drive.
Thank you, Angela. And now City Planner Angela Troll will give a staff presentation.
Thank you. The applicant is requesting a variance to the front setback requirements in the zoning ordinance to allow for a 30-foot front setback instead of the required 35-foot front minimum setback. for a single-family dwelling. In assessing the lot, it appears that the lot has a significant slope. The high point being at the rear of the property, and it slopes towards the front of the property or towards the street. There is about a 20-foot drop from the back of the property to the front of the property. The applicant is requesting a variance to allow for the residential structure to be constructed 30 foot from the front property line instead of the required 35 foot. Due to a couple of factors, including not wanting to construct a large retaining wall, but also making this lot handicap accessible. Slope doesn't really help with making the lot and the structure handicap accessible, so which is a need for the applicant. Staff does not feel that this variance request will impact any surrounding properties, and staff recommends approval of this request. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Angela. Does the applicant have anything to add or would like to speak on the request?
I just wanted to just echo a little bit of what Angela said. The topography of the lot, has a significant slope, and the difference between what you can see on the plat and what is actually buildable is fairly significant. And also, being able to build it a 30-foot setback instead of 35 will just allow less slope on both the driveway and the overall elevation of the house, which will make it more wheelchair friendly when it comes to access.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Does the board have any questions for staff or the applicant on this item? When asking a question, please state your name for the staff. Being there are none, I will now open the public hearing. Are there any in support of this request? If so, please state your name and address for the staff. Being there are none, is there any opposition to this request? If so, please state your name and address for the staff. Being there are none, any additional questions or comments? When asking a question or comment, please state your name for the staff.
Yeah, this is Jason. I think this one's kind of a common sense deal too. We've done them just like this in the past, even, and this is probably to a lesser degree. And this is also all family land, so there wouldn't be an issue with a neighbor or anything.
This is Chad Harkey, and I agree with Jason's sentiments. This is pretty straightforward. I have no issue with it. Anyone have any additional comments or questions? Great. If no more additional comments, I will close the public hearing. I will now entertain a motion. When making a motion, please state your name for the staff.
This is Jason. I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Jason. Do we have a second?
Jim Mobley, second.
Thank you, Jim. There is a first and a second. We will now conduct a roll call vote. I will ask each council member in turn for their vote. When asked, please indicate your vote by saying A or nay. Jason Jones.
Hey,
Judge Diblow.
A.
Kurt Villiard.
A.
Jim Mobley.
A.
And I myself, Chad Harkey, vote A. Staff will now confirm the record of the vote.
Jason Jones made the motion. Jim Mobley seconded the motion. The vote was unanimous, 5-0.
Thank you, Angela. Finally, in closing, please know it's possible our next Zoning Board of Adjustment meetings will need to be conducted via teleconference like this one. We are now adjourned. Thank you all.